It's hard. It's hard being feeling like you're the observant one. Feeling like you're the observant one in your entire family. If you know what I mean, like you're just aware of the skeletons of the real world's closet. How our society works, how society functions, how unfairly it can be, how this isn't just the only country that's dealing with these things. It's like a load of other countries that's suffering, and probably even worse than our country, but it's still just as bad. It's hard being the quote unquote mediator of the family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a feeling. I just had this conversation with my dad. He called me down the stairs, and he always has these conversations with me, either every week, every other week, or every month. But regardless, it's a never-ending train that's gonna keep on rolling, no matter who's in front of it, no matter what time it takes place. It's always just gonna keep on rolling along and functioning. This has been our relationship for I say a couple years now. And he talked to me about something that I didn't expect him to talk to me about. And it was me and my relationship with my other two brothers. And he pretty much randomly, it seems like he just woke up out of a nap when he called me down. And he called me down the stairs, and I was like, I was to myself, I was like, here we go again. I'm dealing with a cold. It's just fixing back. I'm just healing back up. And here we go, calling down with another complaint, another rant about his personal issues. And then he brings up my brothers. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's a different topic. Because, usually that's not the topic we ever talk about. We don't talk about any other topic but the same exact topic or similar topics. But this was different. And he pointed me to the pictures we took a long time ago, like a decade ago, a couple decades ago. No, not a couple decades ago, like a decade ago. You know what I mean? Like the 2010s, essentially. And he was calling about how we've been separated ever since we became gotten older. Like, I'm 20, I'm 23, 24. My brother is in his 20s too. He just turned 20s. He just turned in his 20s. And my other brother, my little brother, he's in his teenage years, So everybody's growing, and growing adolescence is going away. Puberty's coming in. Everybody's developing, getting older. And so naturally, that for all three of us, that just causes division. That's gonna separate us because we have our own interest. All right. And he has this conversation about how the reason why we separate, he don't know. He says he don't know what the reason is, but I knew what the reason. The more he kept talking about it, the more I started figuring out, and the gears in my head started turning and whirling. And I started figuring out, I knew exactly what it was. It was something I've been meaning to tell everyone in the family for years, but they didn't really see it, So it went under the radar for the most part. They never really wanted me to talk about it. And so pretty much he sits here and he keeps looking at me. He keeps talking about how we divided, how we're not talking to each other as much, how when we go to the dinner table, when it's time for dinner, one of us, I'm on my headphones, other brothers doing this, other brothers doing that. It's just quiet. We're always to ourselves. I'm in my room. He's outside with his friends. My little brother's in his room. And as this kept building up, I kept thinking in my mind, like, I know exactly what the reason is now. And it's like, I don't know what happened. A long time ago, y'all used to be, a while ago, we used to be a happy family. I didn't have the prospect of having kids and starting a family for this to be the end result. It was supposed to be happily ever after. We're supposed to come together. Supposed to be outside with him. Your little brother, he's struggling through he's dry jobs, letting him down, and he's being stressed out, and he's out there playing basketball by himself, to let go of the tension. And I want you out there with him. Why aren't you out there with him? You're supposed to be comforting him and telling him it's gonna be all right, and talking through the issues and having a conversation with each other and building a bond. And I thought about that too. I was like, why am I not out there? But then, like I said, that answer that I've been conjuring up for years kept popping up in my head. I couldn't keep silent for long. And so I said it. At the last 20 minutes into the conversation, or 20 minutes in, I said it just so he wouldn't ignore me and just go away, because he had to go pick up my middle brother and go to work. Just so he wouldn't walk away, leaving me dumbstruck and having me be like, damn it, I should have said that. I should have been like, this is the reason. You're not listening. You listen to what I have to say. So I said it. I was like, well, I braced for it. I was like, well, yeah, when in the 2010s, we were together. We had the same bond. We didn't separate. But what happened was, it was out of our control. What happened was, the virus happened in 2020, lockdowns. What happened was, our family was in this bubble of our own identity, our own family values. And then immediately after COVID came, that bubble, pop, it went away, because the real world started caving in on us. COVID, getting sick, not having money, the inflation, whole 9 yards. All those things started caving in on our family. And what happened is that we started our own personal guilts and vices and desires our toxicity started opening up now, and we couldn't hold back anymore as a family. And so it started spilling into our bond, and they were, it affected them, right? They were stressing out about working, providing for the family, money. And what happened was that spilled over. They took it out on us. And we were innocent, kind of innocent from the world. We weren't really innocent. We was looking up all types of crazy, shit on the internet. We was cussing. We was watching adult shows wasn't supposed to, etc. But we were innocent in terms of the fact that we were still naive kids. We were still naive. And then, like I said, the negativities of what was happening in the real world that spilled into our bubble and corrupted everything, it was corrosive acid. It melted everything. It trickled on to taking it out on us. And so now we were getting out of nowhere, pressured to finish school, pressured. They was cussing us out. They started saying whatever they wanted to say out. They never considered the fact that we were young and we was impressionable. And I started finding myself. And so I was already coming to my own. My innocence was already going away, but my innocence was more of not having an identity for myself. And I discussed this in a previous video, but my innocence came from not having my own say in anything, and probably just trying to follow the rules and listen to what everybody told me without thinking for myself. And that all the stresses of the outside world coming into our inside world, our proposed inside world, it spilled in, and they took it out on us. And so the negativities, all that negativities of the real world affected us, and we was together as brothers. We're still together. It's not like I don't like my brothers. That's not what I'm saying. But we separated, it's separated, and we all started focusing on our own things going on, our own selves, and we became distant, detached, quiet, silent, black, dark. Things just started caving in, and we now cut to us, a decade later. Cut to us into a new decade, 2026, And we're kind of fractured, but at the same time, we're fractured in that, not in a literal way, but more of like a metaphorical way. Like jobs are inflation, jobs are kicking our asses, using Indeed and getting let down by applications and it being pretty much feeling like a scam. You're wasting your damn time. Everything, the price is going up. Everything's, the price is going up. The whole 9 yards. Nothing's affordable like it used to be. Things that used to be this amount is now this amount all the way up here. And I told him these things, and what happened was he listened, but then he started going off about something else. He listens to what I say, but he doesn't understand. It just seems like he doesn't want to understand it or look like he understands it. But then later on, he's the same one talking about, oh, I listened to what you said, Columbus. You know what you said before? You were right. And it's like, of course I'm right. I'm observational. I'm looking the outside the world. Now I see it for what it is. I see the society for what it is. I see people for what it is. I see institutions and authority for what it is. And I've been seeing this for like 3 years now. And of course I'm right, because you guys are so wrapped up in the illusion, but I'm outside of the illusion. And it evolved from a family thing, supposed to be something positive. And then guess what? Guess what he does? He talks about money, us needing to start a company together. Your brother, he's not doing a job. He's not doing his job. He's not getting the job like he wants. He's getting let down. He's getting bamboozled. He's feeling this way about it. You got to come together and, build on money. Essentially money talk. So he essentially turned something that was supposed to be personal into something that's pretty much meaningless. Money has taken over, corrupted the family. Being financially at a disadvantage has seriously effed up our family to the point where I don't think we could ever have anything real, authentic about us without it being something that has nothing to do with us, like money and jobs. Yes, the world is ran by money and you have to live by money, but that don't mean, well, no. You have to exist. You have to follow the rules of what money helps you survive in this world, but you don't have to embody money. You can't let money possess you and take you over. And that's what happened. The family let money take over and let personal, in turns, they had my parents, my mom and dad had their own personal flaws and faults happen, and they were taking it out on us. And because of that, we didn't have time to our brotherhood, us as brothers, we didn't have time to bond really. Things that kept getting more split apart. And from there, what happened? Everything's gone now. That's gone. That whole innocent institution that we built up for ourselves because we didn't think of the outside world. We just lived in life. Nothing was going wrong from what we saw. Everything that was wrong was under our noses, over our heads. We were just pretty much NPCs, living the classic family life that you're supposed to live, right? And the real world and its many casualties came and spilled and flooded everything and washed all that wholesomeness away. The innocence turned into not innocent, and the toxicity in our us started building because of these stresses and these negativities and downsides, That's what happened. And I feel like I'm the only one in my family. I feel like I'm the mediator of the family. I'm the observer. I'm the philosopher. Not in an egotistical way, but like I said, I'm looking into something more deeper than the fundamentals. And my family don't seem to be doing that. They seem to be like, they don't understand. They let the outside world eat up their entire mindset, and it becomes, their mindsets get affected by that. But it's like, you're not thinking outside of the box. Like, I'm trying to think outside of the box, And I guess I should be more honest with them instead of just keeping it to myself because, but even then, it's hard to get them to understand because they don't want to listen to what you're saying. They still say meaningless stuff like, "Where's your job?" Every conversation is just essentially job, 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 company, company. This pay, 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 bills, bills, bills. It just ruined the entire dynamic of the family and it separated us mentally, emotionally, metaphorically, not physically. We're still in one house together as a family, but we couldn't be more subtracted, divided. And the moment, if everybody gets on my wave with it, understands how life really is and how being a human really is, then maybe we could come together again like that. With, yes, darkness, underlying darkness being the prohibitor of that, but regardless, us coming together again. So yeah, it's kind of depressing to be the being observant, being the one that, you know, is outside of the matrix. Meanwhile, my family is in the matrix, except my middle brother. He's 14. He don't know what the matrix is. He's not fault. He's just a 14-year-old. That's not his fault. He's just, you know, growing up. He's just becoming a kid. He's still a kid. He's still young. But yeah, man, it's really sad. I can't even look at my family really the same way anymore. It's pretty disappointing. And you know, my father, with these conversations, all they boil down to his own personal vendettas that he has with a lot of things. He complains about everything. He always stressed out about working a job. I understand, it's understandable, but don't take it out on us. Don't take it out on me. What did I do? Like, my worth isn't determined by a piece of paper. It shouldn't be determined by that. My worth as a son to you, as you know, your dreams should not equate to financial gain. It should be, we shouldn't let money consume us as individuals. We use money. We have to exploit how that system functions. You have to exploit the rat race. This is why family, you know, when you're someone who's aware, it's a gift and a curse. This is what all these other videos I made kind of boils down to, essentially. When you're aware, you just, I don't know why that turned on. I guess I'll keep it going. Okay. When you're aware, it just hurts so much. Because, you know, other people, they think your parents, they're smart. I'm not saying my parents are dumb, but, and this goes for general, anybody who's aware of how the world works, actually aware, not falling into camps and bubbles like Democrat, Republican, right and left, black and white, good versus evil. Get rid of all that bullshit. Get rid of all that, because that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Being aware of those are just distractions from the actual understanding of the human condition, the human nature, the world we exist in, the world we have to function in. Society is what divides families, not families. When you put your motivations into what the authority figures, the ones who have the boots over you, who's stomping on you, the ones on the top, then it affects it trickles down, and it's like a butterfly effect, and simultaneously, you know, affects everyone. It hurts everything. It hurts the positivity and turns it into a corrupt ball of negativity. It turns the garbage. And you don't want to be that. So yes, being the reason, being the one that's kind of the outsider of my family, because I don't want to immediately walk. I'm not like, it's not even just that I have to work a job. That's the problem. Not wanting to work a job. It's about the fact that I'm thinking the way I think, and they have a problem with that for some reason. It's like, oh, you're depressed. It always goes down to that. You're depressed. You're dealing with personal issues. Your personal life isn't the way it's supposed to be. You're insane or something. You've been doing drugs. You've been watching the wrong people. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I came to these conclusions myself. These things happen. I learned these things myself. It was because of no one. I just found people on the internet who have the same mindset, who's thinking exactly like me. We can come to a mutual understanding. I'm not just playing follow the leader or Simon Says and just watching a guy and then repeating every talking point that he has. I'm not just doing that. I've been aware of this since COVID. I'm telling you right now, the 2020s is probably the worst decade for any family ever. Because like I said, everybody's eyes are now open. But it seems like my families are not. They understand the pretty typical narratives, but they don't actually know the bigger picture.